welcome. My name is Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and today I'm bringing you the weekly forecast from the Great Australian Bight. You can see behind me here, just off the air highway along the Nullarbor Plains, we come down to the beautiful coastline, and this is my campsite for tonight. And I'm going to bring you the weekly forecast from here, from this beautiful place, before it gets too windy. So this is for week commencing July 4th, 2022. As usual, I'm using the Mythic Tarot, and I will be bringing you guidance for the week using my intuition, using my psychic awareness and the meaning of the tarot to give us a bit of a narrative about what to expect for the week ahead from Monday the 4th of July. Now, I'm choosing, as usual, 6 cards, and these cards are just chosen randomly. I hope you had a good week. Sorry I missed last week. I wasn't feeling very well, so nothing actually happened last week. It's been a lovely weather. I've been having a good time, and as you can see, great scenery. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 cards. I'm just going to pop these here so I don't lose them. I've been carrying these cards around for the past 25, 6 years. Wasn't it? About 26 years now. But they've been all over the world. They've been all over the country with me. And yeah, still got them. Okay, so let's start. So the card we're going to start with is where we're at, where we consciously know, and you'll be able to recognize that part of who we are. So it's our conscious self this week. So we have this one, we have is the Chariot. So I'll come up and show you. Chariot. So the Chariot represents that part of us that really wants to trying to control and wants to break free of that control. So the Chariot doesn't want to break free, but circumstances surrounding the Chariot and the energy of the Chariot is forcing us to assess our situation, and the things that we get upset about, the things that bring us quick to anger, are those things that we're being asked to look at because they are not actually in the flow. There's the things that we're trying to control. So the Chariot is going to highlight the aspects of our lives where we think we are in control, and we're trying to squish it down and keep it under control. So the next card we're going to have a look at is what our guidance is showing us. And so we're going to the way this card is explaining things to us is that how our soul energy, how our guidance energy is revealing to us in ways to help us understand that anger, to understand where we're squashing things down, or to understand in ourselves. So it's going to give us examples, or put us in situations, or put things right in our face that says, hey, this is it. This will help you get through it, or this will help you face it. So the card that we have here is the 3 of Cups. So the 3 of Cups in this instance represents how the sense of support and community that we have around us. And I'm not talking about our friends or anything, it could be our friends, but it's that part of us where we have the closeness of people who say, hey, have you, do you realize you're doing this? Or I've noticed that this is happening for you, or this is happening around you, or do you need to talk to somebody? And so our soul self and our spirit selves will guide us, or bring us closer to, or bring them closer to us. Our people who are closest to us, who are able to not only support us, but maybe even call us out. And we will understand and be okay with it because they love us. We know that they love us and we love them. So the antagonistic side of things will be outweighed or outshone by the supportive side of things. And so it seems to me that we may not be getting antagonized by other people, or if we do, they'll be randoms. They won't be people who are close to us. They'll be just things that happen to us that brings that understanding of that level of control, and it'll allow us to connect with those people who support us and who are okay, and we're okay with them calling us out, if that makes sense. So it'll shine the light on those of our people who are very supportive and who we love. It feels quite a little bit isolating. That okay, so sorry, just had a bit of a camera issue there. So I was just saying that the Chariot is feeling has a sense of isolation about it. So the Three of Cups is bringing those people closer together, or bringing and highlighting those that are our support system, so that we recognize them. Okay, so now we're looking at what we are challenged by. What is our fear? We have here the Seven of Wands. So in this instance, the Seven of Wands, the position of this card represents the things that we are like challenged by, the things that create a bit of vulnerability in us, and a bit of like, hey, you know, like almost like we want to push back on it because we're frightened of it. And it's those things, it's like where the world has a mirror to us, and it's in that vulnerable space that we can actually build up our strength if we use it for our own highest good. So the Seven of Wands represents the part of us that is like, we look outside of ourselves and say, that person, you know, like when it's working in the flow, we realize, you know, we recognize, well, I'm actually as good as my peers. I'm actually, you know, we feel really confident about ourselves and in our abilities. But when it's working in this space here, we are actually feeling less than those around us, and the people who we consider our peers, we are feeling less than. And hence, having these other two cards sitting here, the sense of isolation and bringing those support systems together is going to help us to, as I said, not be so isolated anymore, and to be more collaborative. Because this one is stopping us from being collaborative, it's going to sort of settle that down. Instead of thinking everybody's against us and we're not good enough and everyone else is better than we are, that support system will reflect back to us when it's in its strength, which is our soul selves, that will remind us what we are, because we will trust the people that are saying to us, you know what, you are good enough, we love you, talk to us, all that sort of thing. And so in that'll be like a healing salve that says, you know what, these are the people that I should be listening to. These are the people that are showing me exactly how much they love me, and why I'm like, it reflects our self-worth that's already inside of us. Whereas this is, again, very isolating. We're sort of sitting within a little isolation tube and not having enough information coming forward saying, hey, it's not what you think it is, it's actually this thing over here. So, you know, we can be our own worst critics, and so we'll be facing that part of us, that own worst critic part of us. The next card we're having a look at is our response to the situation. How are we going to actually behave or act and react? The card we have here is the Magician. So this tells me that we are being prepared for the next part of the journey. We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Like, there's been a build-up, there's been like lots of enthusiasm, lots of like excitement around things. We can feel things bubbling away and everything's running smoothly and all the good things. And this is like a bit of a bump in the road, because it's like that. It is the part of us that says, you know what, the door's actually open, ready to step through. These are the things that you're going to leave behind, but in order to step into that new, because the door's open, the door is open, and the Magician has all of the tools he needs. There's just that hesitation. So it's recognizing that these are the things we are not going to take with us. We're going to let that go. And so to have to sit in that sort of space and that lack of control, or that isolation, and realize that through our loved ones, actually channel that self-esteem or that self-worth back into us and recognize who we are again, then we are able to step into the next phase. And it's this to me is always very exciting, because that means that we've got everything we need to step into that new one. It was just that last little bit to leave behind. We've made that decision, we've got it all ready to go. It's just getting rid of those last little thoughts that say, you know, you can't do this, blah blah blah, whatever. letting that go. Okay, so our possible future, the potential that we're heading into. We have here the Ten of Swords. You look at the Ten of Swords, it looks very confronting. I always think it looks confronting, but the look of it, and I suppose this is the meaning behind it as well, it looks confronting, but it's actually quite a healing card. It means that we have done all of the work. We have actually finished, like for this next phase, we have done the work. We have left all that behind. We can now enter into a time of a little bit of peace before we step it back up again. So in other words, all the work that we're doing in this last little bit before we step through is going to enable us to feel relaxed, and we can actually have a bit of a break before things start to speed back up again, because stepping over the threshold is the decision to actually say, yes, I want to do this next bit. Yes, I'm ready to do this. I recognize I've got it all. It doesn't mean to say that you have to then rush into it. All it means is that you make that decision and step into it, and then the flow starts happening naturally. But before that flow can happen, there's a little bit of healing time and downtime, and just recognizing how far you've come, or how far we've come. And so therefore, to not push yourself, it's a little bit of a resting time as well. Not too many thoughts coming in. It's just like going, oh, I'll just have that cup of tea before I start off again. So just having a bit of a break, and then, but you'll know when to start again, like when the pace starts to pick up, because the universe will show you. What is the spiritual meaning behind all this? 5 of Wands. So the spiritual aspect of this reading, the position of the spiritual aspect of the reading is it's like the soul journey. What is the soul lesson, or what is the soul realizing about itself? What is the part of it that we are integrating of our karmic contract and of our karmic journey? The 5 of Wands, first of all, 5 represents that change. So it's that rock bottom part that says, okay, I've really got to do something now. I've done everything I could think of. I'm probably at the worst place, or the bottom of everything. I'm ready to change. The 5 of Wands in that position is like saying that, again, I guess it's exactly what I've just said, is that we are putting out, we've done everything we can do. Look at the struggle that's going on here. We have done everything that we can do. We realize that in a soul sense, we have done all of our work. We have put ourselves into that space. We have been human, we've been a soul, we've been spiritual, we've been probably the worst human and the best human, all those things. The soul journey is ready for that shift. And so the karmic shift, or the soul shift, means that we are again recognizing that we have done the hard yards, we've done the hard work, and now the only way is up. The only way forward is that trajectory. The soul is saying, you know what? I don't always have to work this hard. I'm going to stop now. I think we always reach a time, and it's different for everybody, but we reach a time in our spiritual journey, or on our soul journey, where we realize how hard we make it for ourselves, how difficult we push things, because we think, we think we're in charge. And so when we realize that, we have the power and we have the choice, but we're trying to control things from a point of view that doesn't suit us anymore. And so this week is actually not that we don't have to face all of that at once. We're just letting go of the last little bit, and the only way we can do that is to be agitated and aggravated, but the only way that we can move through that is to have our loved ones and the people who can call us out saying, hey, you're doing this, and you go, oh, okay, sorry. And so we can actually reflect on our behavior and decide how we want to move forward. So the spiritual journey is not about following blindly what we think our guides and our spirit wants us to do. Our spiritual journey is all about choice. Our choices that we make, and how then our soul and our guides support that choice. And so that's how we work collaboratively. So not only in the human world are we working collaboratively, but we're working in that way with the spirit world as well. And so the Five of Wands is going to help us understand where we have been making it too hard for ourselves, where we can actually work stronger with our guides and work smarter with our guides, and that the choices we make, not so much to like try and force our point of view, but to work with what our actual soul is wanting to express. And so we're a lot kinder to who we are. I think this week we're just going to realize or recognize or remember exactly how amazing we are, and we just have to have those few agitations to bring that to the top, to rise to the top and think, you know what, I am pretty good. And so all that negative self-talk can just go out the window. And it's the only way that we can do that is to allow our loved ones and support systems to come and reflect that back to us, so that we can, and stop being in sort of an isolating bubble, and just open ourselves up again to the flow of life and the flow of the world, because that little voice in our head often lies to us. Anyway, that's the weekly forecast for this week, commencing July 4th, 2022. My name is Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, coming to you from the Great Australian Bight at the very southern end of Australia. And much love to you, and see you next week. See you guys next week, with love from me. Mwah.